Have you ever just had that thought, what if I deleted it all? Like all of it. Your social media just gone. Well, turns out you're not alone. It's a growing trend, and it actually has a name, the digital exodus. Today, we're going to get into exactly why so many people are choosing to log off, and not just for a weekend, but for good.
But let me ask you something first. Does your brain ever just feel full? You know that feeling, right? After you've been scrolling for who knows how long, and you feel like you've seen a million things but can't remember a single one of them? Yeah, that feeling of mental static. That's exactly what we're talking about today.
So what exactly is this digital exodus? Look, it's way more than just a temporary social media detox. We're talking about a real, conscious shift in how people are choosing to manage their lives and, more importantly, their attention.
At its heart, the digital exodus is an intentional decision. It's people looking at the trade-off and saying, you know what, I want my time back. I want my focus back. I want my mental energy back. And they're doing that by making the long-term choice to delete their profiles.
Now let's be super clear about something. This is not about being anti-technology. Nobody's suggesting we all go back to the Stone Age. It's really about flipping the script, about going from a place where our technology controls us to a place where we control it.
And this brings us right to the absolute core of why this exodus is happening. It all comes down to a concept called cognitive bandwidth. Just think of it as your brain's battery for the day, a finite resource that you spend with every single thing you do.
So what is cognitive bandwidth, really? Well, it's the limited space your brain has for paying attention, for making good decisions, for actually solving problems. The best analogy, honestly, is the RAM in your computer. You know how when you have way too many tabs open, everything starts to slow down, it gets glitchy, and eventually it just crashes? That's your brain on digital overload.
And this is where it gets really eye-opening. Just look at how social media carves up our mental energy. A massive 60% gets eaten up by what you could call digital noise. Just the endless feed of updates, opinions, and ads. Another big chunk is spent just reacting, liking, commenting, sharing. So what's left over for actual deep, focused thinking? A tiny little sliver. That is the real cost of being constantly plugged in.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It says, our attention isn't just distracted, it's fractured into 1,000 tiny pieces. And that's exactly how it feels. Every notification, every ping, every new post just shatters our focus, making it almost impossible to concentrate on anything meaningful.
Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? Well, it involves a process, almost like a deprogramming, where you have to consciously break those addictive feedback loops that these platforms have spent billions of dollars to create. And this deprogramming journey kind of has 4 key stages. First, you just have to acknowledge the programming, to see the habit for what it is. Then you remove the stimulus. Yep, you delete the apps. Step 3, navigating the void, that's the tough one. It's that antsy feeling, the boredom, that go slim feeling of reaching for a phone that doesn't have the app anymore. But if you push through that, you get to the best part, forming new, healthier pathways for your mind. Because ultimately, that's the whole point. The goal is to shift from a life driven by unconscious automatic scrolling to one of conscious, intentional living. So what's it actually like? What happens on the other side of this digital exodus? What does it really feel like to reclaim all of that mental real estate?
Well, the contrast is pretty stark. You go from this before state, where your attention is fragmented, you're constantly in reactive mode, just being bombarded, to an after state, a state where you can actually sustain your focus, where you can be proactive about your day, and where you can find moments of intentional, beautiful quiet.
And the benefits that people report are, well, they're profound. We're talking deeper creativity, sharper problem-solving skills, because their brain finally has room to breathe. They build stronger, more meaningful connections in the real world. They feel more present in their own lives. And for so many, there's a huge drop in their day-to-day anxiety.
So, as we wrap things up here, I want to leave you with one last question to chew on, something to really think about in the context of your own life. But first, I want this to really sink in. Your cognitive bandwidth, it is not some abstract idea. It is your most valuable, absolutely non-renewable resource. It's the raw material you have every single day to build the life you actually want for yourself.
So I'll leave you with this. If you took back all that time, all that focus, all that mental energy you're currently giving away, what would you build with it? What amazing project would you start? Who would you connect with on a deeper level? What would you create? The possibilities, they're pretty incredible to think about.